I'm Bambi Francisco for Vator TV, the site on innovation and innovators, and today I'm speaking with Sagi Solomon, who founded OpenBottles back in 2004. Sagi, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sagi, OpenBottles is a wine social network, and there are a number of social networking sites proliferating on the web, and wine social network sites such as CrushNet and WineLog. How is your site, your wine social network site, different from other wine social networks?
A lot of the wine social networks out there right now tend to focus only on the wine, and I think that leaves out a big part of the whole wine experience, which is the winery and the tasting room experience. Enjoying wine with the winemaker, speaking about the wine, being with people in that environment, I think is very important. So our site allows people to not only rate and recommend wines, but also rate and recommend wineries. Gives you a little more information about where you go visit. In addition, a lot of the other sites really make it ambiguous in terms of what is a good wine, what is not a good wine. Our rating system is really designed to be simple. That's something that everyone can relate to, which is whether or not you like the wine or you didn't like the wine.
Now you have 2,200 wineries. Are you actively going out and signing them up, or are users putting up a winery?
So what we have is information about 2,200 wineries, primarily on the West Coast. And what we offer wineries is a toolkit that allows them to establish a presence in the community. So I actively go out to the wineries and say, hey, look at these great tools. Be involved. People want to learn about you. They want to learn about your wines. And through this toolkit, they get involved in the community.
Do you have any success stories? How many people are you driving to these wineries?
At this point, it's a little hard to tell. We have 50 winery customers who use the toolkit. I hear a lot of great things from them. They see people coming in with some tasting sheets that we provide on the site. They're talking about OpenBottles. They clearly have some connection. And one of the things I really want to drive as we grow the company is how do I create more of a connection between the internet world and their tasting room, which is what the wineries really want.
And how are you doing that?
So right now we're providing the community tools that they print out and they go to the wineries. Using the recommendation system, they find out about which wineries they want to visit, let's say in Paso Robles, which happens to be one of my favorite regions. They read the reviews, they say, oh, these are great, they're all within this area. They print out tasting sheets, we make little notebooks that they can have for keeping notes. They take these into the wineries, they have our logo, they have the winery name on there, and then there's that connection that the winery you see right away.
And how are you getting new users onto your site?
Word of mouth has been very successful for us. In the beginning, there was a little bit of a slow growth. Over the last 6 months, it's been exploding. The word of mouth, bloggers, we've had growth of over 300% in every category, users, reviews, visits. It's phenomenal, and it's all driven by social networking, and blogging, and other social networking sites.
So you're participating in the Vator TV sponsored wine competition. The winner will get to sit down with Chris Moore at Redpoint Ventures, and I'm sure Chris will want to know, what is your business model?
Unlike all the other social networking sites, I don't believe that advertising is the right way to go. I don't believe that advertising is a viable way to sustain this. My business model is actually targeted at the wineries themselves. So I am providing them tools to market themselves into the community. We're seeing this in YouTube, the content is being pushed into the community. So what I'm going to do is allow them to push content for a fee.
And do you know what that would be, or what they would be willing to pay?
Hard to tell. My target market is the small to medium wineries, the guys that working really hard. They love what they're doing, but they just don't have the time to really sit down and think. So they may have one person in charge of sales and marketing. Those are my target market. Their budgets vary drastically, and the value that they get out of it. A winery that's a little bit more remote, let's say, forget Napa Valley. Everyone knows Napa Valley. A winery that's up in the Sierra foothills may be willing to pay a lot more. Pricing is going to depend a lot on the specifics of the winery.
And right now you have 20,000 wines that are being rated and voted upon, and they're being submitted by the user, correct? And is that mostly the California region, or international wines?
Primarily West Coast, and the wines they come into the database from 3 sources. So we either add them on our own. The wineries, our winery members, the 50 members, add them as part of their toolkit, and the community adds wines as well from all the features, the cellar, the wish list, the rating, and just to add wines.
This is something that you started off as a hobby. Yes. When do you plan on pursuing this full time?
I'd like to at least see really sort of a cross-platform validation of the model. I'd like to see wine generally being accepted on the internet, wine sales, people going online to research wine. Right now, everyone kind of goes to the spectators. They go to the traditional media. I suspect sometimes next year, I've already seen sort of a breaking point in the market. And sometime next year, I suspect is where I'll be able to make the full leap over.
How big is this market opportunity to focus just on wine lovers?
So California produces about $10 billion in sales of wine a year. Most recent statistics say that about $200 million is spent on wine advertising, which is about a fifth of alcohol advertising generally. A lot of that has to do, though, with the way that wine has been sold traditionally through very regimented distribution channels, some unfair laws in state restricting direct consumer to winery.
Well, that's loosened up a bit now. So.
Exactly. And so the market is going to be opening up, and I suspect direct consumer to winery advertising is going to increase, and social networks is a targeted audience who wants to know about the wine. It is a perfect new avenue for wineries to market themselves.
Do you think the wineries will be paying you a fee, or do you think they'll pay you a subscription?
I suspect it'll be a subscription, especially in the beginning when they are not so sure about the effectiveness. This is really a new way to market yourself. Social networks have only been around for a few years. Marketing into social networks is just emerging. So the risk for them, I suspect, is going to be higher. They tend to be a little more conservative because they're smaller businesses.
Okay, Sagi. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And if you win the Wine 2.0 competition, I'm assuming you will end up working full-time and pursuing this full-time, correct?
I hope so, yes.
So if you like Sagi's pitch, by the way, you can vote and rate and comment about his pitch, and he'll have a higher chance of getting noticed by the Red Point Venture guys and possibly win the Wine 2.0 competition. So thanks very much. I've been speaking with Sagi Solomon. I'm Bambi Francisco.